All right, everybody, what's going on for you? Welcome to the new week. I hope you had a lovely holiday. If you were celebrating here in America, it was Thanksgiving, so we had a big old holiday weekend. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves, get a little fun in your life, a little light in your life, and here we go. So I do want to say that, it's so funny because just a little while ago this summer, I was like, oh my God, so many retrogrades. It's going to be over this fall. There's still 4 planets in retrograde, okay? And then we have Mercury retrograde again at the end of December. So I did a little video on, here you go, on the 9 things to look out for in December astrology. There is going to be, I'm going to follow up. Some of you have asked some really great questions. You always do in the comments. So I'm going to follow up with some full videos on some of these points that I made in that video. And if you have some astrological questions about things to clarify for yourself, what does this full moon mean for me or anything like that, then drop it in the comments below. Okay, so let's get some guidance about how to navigate what's going on right now. We do have Mars in retrograde in Gemini. What else did I write down? Uranus in Taurus, Neptune in Pisces, and Chiron in Aries. They are all retrograde. And, Chiron is about doing some deep inner work. Neptune in Pisces, it's going direct in December, but Neptune in Pisces can be a little bit like too good to be true. It can give you that kind of feeling. So just so you know, but it's going direct early in December. So let's see where we go. And Uranus is always about breakthroughs, breakdowns and breakthroughs. I love Uranus. It's the ruling Aquarius energy. I love it. I love it. I love it because it's like the unvarnished truth. There's no hiding behind anything with Uranus or with Aquarius. And I respect that quality immensely. Overcoming obstacles, reaching your destination. That's nice. Valiant courage. Okay. So a lot of you have had quite a bit of work to do this year. I do know that when we have Chiron in retrograde in Aries, especially, that's a lot of deep inner work. So if you have been doing that, if you've been feeling like constantly presented with issues this year, I'm going to say that this is a little bit of a celebration, a little bit of an attaboy. Okay. Reaching your destination, valiant courage. It's not just the graduation that happens. It's that you get a certificate for doing this. There's some kind of lasting value that has come from doing work this year that if you've had struggles, if you have had financial struggles, or if you've been going through a divorce or any kind of big upheavals in your life, changing careers, shifting, and you have been able to overcome these in a very measured and even kind of way, I'm going to say, without, completely melting down or going through some kind of escapist kind of tendency. If you've escaped into things, that probably isn't going to be celebrated by the universe. But if you've said, all right, enough, I'm doing something about this, even if it's at the 11th hour right now, right? Because we have things going direct in December. We do have, I believe, Chiron is going direct in December. So have you done the inner work? I think that's a really important thing to pay attention to. Oh my God. Internally, there's the High Priestess. Look at this. Tower. My goodness. Judgment. And here's the Aquarius energy. Oh, I love this so much. Wow. That's King of Swords. And then the Strength card, right? Courage. Valiant courage. Courage, Camille. So internally, I feel like some of you are having breakthroughs in your ability to intuit, in your ability to hear your guides, to be able to get clarity for yourself, right? So we talk about that a lot in my tarot readings, that my job is really just to point things out. It's your job to be like, oh yeah, that's for me, and then do something with it, right? We're not just here to be like, okay, this is what somebody else is going to do, because you only have control over you. And that's all I care about, is that you're doing something that's benefiting yourself. You're healing yourself. You're working on yourself. You're doing what you're here to be doing. You're stepping into your spiritual path, and you're doing that because from a healed perspective. starting in January, I am going to give you tools. I'm going to be working on a group that's about shadow work. It's also about accelerating your ascension path. And this comes from intense work on yourself. So that's starting in January. You'll see more about that. I'll talk a lot more about that as we go. Pathfinders, you're going to get a special deal on this group coaching and mentoring program because a lot of you are kind of the ones that suggested it to me. You're like, hey, let's do a weekly group on just this thing, healing, tools for healing. Okay, done. So we'll talk a lot more about that coming up. Okay, so we are moving into that strength. This is all internal stuff, okay? The High Priestess, the Tower, the Judgment, the King of Swords, and the Strength card. Some of you are getting super clear on what you're going to accept from people and what you're not. And you're going to be able to say it without guilt, without fear, without emotion. Because we want to do something that's going to be received by other people. A lot of times, there's a lot of emotion coming at people. There's plenty of people on this planet that like, woo, no, don't want to have that. Okay. Tell me what you want to tell me in a way that I can hear it. There is benefit to doing that. It's not that you're complying with everybody else, but here's the thing. If your mission here is to create and receive guidance and be clear in the world, I feel like that's what's going on here. And if that's part of you keeping moving along, is that you're able to communicate in a healthy way with other people without raging at them or without, bringing a lot of stuff into it. Gold star. Okay? Because why? Okay? Because especially for those of us who have a lot of Cancer in our charts, a lot of emotion, a lot of water sign energy, you can use this energy that we're in right now to learn a new way of communication so that you can get, this sounds really mercenary, but you can get what you want. You can work with other people in a more effective way. If it's just like, this is who I am and I'm just going to blast people, it's just going to be harder. All right. It's just going to be harder. Like gold star for like, hey, I am what I am and that's all that I am. But the thing is, like, if the goal is overcoming obstacles, if the goal is getting to harmony in a relationship or more responsibility in a job, a promotion, things like that, then we need to learn how to work with other people. We need to learn when our strengths can be applied and how to use those strengths in the world so that they are elevating us into a very healthy category. If we're constantly unconscious and in our lower animal sort of nature, then it's just like bull in a china shop, right? Just like bam, 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 don't care. That's an unhealthy way of dealing with what you want to do in this world. Let's get healthy, okay? That's 2023. Let's get healthy. All right, so let's see what we're doing here. 4 of Cups, 10 of Wands, 3 of Pentacles. Wow, Ace of Pentacles, the Moon. There's that fear. 7 of Pentacles. I feel like that's what happens. I'll say that in a second. 6 of Swords, Devil energy, and the 10 of Cups. I feel like we have, so there's something here. Okay. There's a lot coming through here. I feel like when we just get to the cusp of doing that which is the healthy, for every single zodiac sign, and I guess I need to do videos on this. I better write this down. There is a healthy application of that. There is a moderate or a baseline, and then there's an unhealthy, right? If you are using your Gemini-ness to its best and highest quality, best and highest good, then that you are going to be able to really expand your knowledge, expand your communication, everything like that, your ideas out in the world, be able to do that. If you're in an unhealthy Gemini, then you're tending to go into a hole and, it's a little bit of head in the sand, a little bit of don't bother me, get away from me kind of experience. And I feel like that might have been, and I'm not really talking about Geminis, but I am saying that if you have been head in the sand, head buried in the sand, look at these. Both of these kind of look to me like head buried in the sand. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it. 4 of Cups and the 10 of Wands. If you've been in that way of doing things, meaning this is who I am, take it or leave it. Okay, listen, I'm a Sag. We're very blunt. We can be that way. But is it working for you? If it's working for you, God bless. And what I mean by that is, are you getting what you want out of life? Are you being able to do the things you want? And if you are, and you're happy with it, ta-da. If you're unhappy with it, or you're feeling like your relationships are not what you want, then the only thing we can do is work on ourselves. That's why I'm doing that group, okay? The only thing to do. So some of you might have put your head in the sand this year, or I don't know why it's this year. We're not wrapping up this year yet. But if some of you have put your head in the sand, or you have just pushed on harder, okay? Like if one scoop is good, then 10 scoops is great, which is not true. By the way, that's ostensibly and objectively not true. And some of you just decided, this is very stubborn energy. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And all y'all are going to have to just deal with me. Okay. Now, I think where that is going is there's a mastery of how I can be authentic to myself with the benefit of get going where I want to go. So this is about elevating yourself into the healthiest level of your energy. I think some of you are taking your head out of the sand. Some of you have been doing that, pushing when you should have been listening. All right. Like the internal stuff here with the high priestess. Some of you have just been like, head down. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And that hasn't really gone very well. It hasn't really advanced anything. So now it's time to kind of stop with just the coping mechanisms. Coping mechanisms show up in our childhood because we don't have the emotional maturity to do anything else. We don't. In our developmental patterns, you don't. You don't as a kid. That's why it's so hard, when certain kids become adults too soon, they have these coping mechanisms and it's really hard to ply them out of their hands because it's worked for them. But now as an adult, you have emotional regulation. You have the ability to see what's working for you and what's not working for you and do things that will help you get what you want, where you want to go. Okay. If I want to have my own company, but I don't want to be a leader or be seen doing it, then what part of my personality is going to be able to be in leadership in a way that I want to be in leadership? It doesn't always have to be these like swashbuckling pirates and stuff like pirates. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be these big personalities, because the overwhelming, when they go too far into that, there's narcissism that comes up, right? You go too deep into that. It's like, oh, it's all about me. I'm the one. I'm the only one that can help. I'm the only one that can lead. And that's just not true. There's different styles of leadership. So this is a way of you saying, okay, I've been pushing too hard on the thing that isn't really working for me, whatever that is. And I'm going to now actively pursue something that is going to be better. Three of Pentacles is a level of mastery of ourselves. We are learning about the things that work for us and don't work for us, and how we can work with people, how we can have our goals met or meet our goals, how we can expand our financial well-being, how we can expand our emotional well-being, our particular day-to-day experience. How can that get better, right? Look at all the areas of your life and what is not working for you. And a lot of times it's because we pour gasoline on the fire with our dominant personality types, and that is never going to work, okay? If you are over the top in anything, that's going to bring some kind of struggle. Now, you may not care about the struggle it brings, and so that works for you, okay? But some other people might care about the struggle it brings, and it might not bring the thing that they're most wanting to embrace, okay? It might bring you more of the thing you want to avoid. So anyway, we're looking at what we're overdoing at, what we are pushing too hard at, what is not in our best interest. And I do feel like we have some new opportunities coming in. This Ace of Pentacles, very beautiful energy. And I do feel like when we get afraid, sometimes we do push too hard at the things that worked for us in coping mechanism kind of way as a child, instead of employing our adult self and really understanding what to do. Now, this moon energy, I feel like some of you only value tangible things, yet your emotions and your connection to spirit, your feelings, these are your compass. So if you're really not valuing feelings and you're only valuing your mind, you're missing out on a huge part of your guidance system. Okay. And some of us have lots of fears about going too deep into emotions, that we're going to get stuck in them. Okay. And that's not going to feel good. Now, ironically enough, this is Saturn energy. All right. So the moon energy, we do have full moon in Gemini in early December, which I talked about in that video. This is Saturnian energy, which is about doing the things that we need to do, even if we don't like it. Eat your vegetables and go to bed at a reasonable hour. Those are things that even if we're like, oh man, I just want like one more bucket of Mountain Dew and, some wings and stuff. And I'm going to watch and I'm going to play, video games until 4 a.m. and stuff. That's super fun once in a while. But if you do that every day, then that's going to become the sum total of your experience. There's not much else that can get in if you're doing something like that. So this is more about eating your vegetables and going to bed at a reasonable hour so that you can then move toward that which you most want to create. The 6 of Swords and the 10 of Cups. All right. So right now we're moving from something that we've always done that now has become a hindrance. If some of you are really good at emotional connection, if you blast people with emotions, it's counterproductive. Anything outside of this level of moderation tends to get overdone, overworked, too much for people, all that kind of stuff. And we're working on what is going to work for us. It's not about abandoning your principles of being a direct Sagittarius. It's about understanding that you have magic in you and you need to be seen in this world. So how can you navigate this world in a way that supports your mission, whatever that is? That's what you're doing, trying to support this mission. Okay, so we're going to talk more about this internal stuff in the extended. I do want to talk about breakthroughs that are coming through in terms of our gifts, our intuition. Some of you are going to be opening up to guides and mediumship or becoming a shaman or something like that. I can definitely see that here. But there is something that's blocking you, and it's within your control to fix it. Okay? All right. Link is below if you want to continue on with me. If you're part of Pathfinders, the rest of the reading starts right now.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.